welcome to today's video. And in today's video we will be looking at the requirement gathering techniques part 3. So in part 1 I would have explained about interviews, part 2 it would have been about questionnaires and surveys, and in part 3 we will be looking at document analysis and user observation. So let's get into it. So document analysis, this is the process of analyzing information in documents related to the system to be updated. So you have a system. The system will be having some pre-existing documents. It can be like business rules documents, system flow documents, functional specification documents. It can be n number of documents related to the system. So analyzing those documents is what is called as document analysis. So the information on why the existing system works as it does, all this intricate and all these detailed informations, most of the time it's hidden in all these specification and design documents. People will not go into the details, and they will not specify most of these requirements. So if you want to get a better understanding of the system you are developing and updating, then it's always the best idea to go back to the document and analyze the document for more detail and accurate and rather hidden requirements of your system. So if you look here, the information gathered from the document analysis, it can help you to formulate further questions and evaluate the completeness of your requirement set. Okay. So there would have been some times when you have gone through the entire document analysis phase, you have gone through the entire document, and you would have found out certain, you would have had some doubts. So that document analysis process acts as a base from which you can ask further questions, you can clarify your doubts, and you can close the loops in the system. So this is how it helps you. And if you see document analysis, it's done sometimes, not every time, requirements are gathered using this method, but there are times when you go for this document analysis stage. So the first one is more reference after a training session. Now let's say you have, you're onboarded into a project and you have to work on that particular project, and they have given you a high level training or detailed training. But to go back and to refer to what exactly the system is, what are the rules, etc., you would be doing a document analysis. And in the other instance, if you see, information gathering in the absence of the projects or the product stakeholders or SMEs. So let's say you have a product in hand on which you're working and developing and updating, but the person who developed this or brought the product to the current state will not be sometimes in the organization, or they would be absent for a particular period of time. At that time things cannot be on a hold, and that's where you have to go back to documents that were provided by them in order to refer to the information and get out some details and requirements. So this is how where document analysis plays an important role. So let's go on to the next one, which is user observation, which is otherwise known as shadowing. So this is another requirement gathering technique. And if you see in this process, it's a process of understanding the needs, pain points, and processes of the users by active or by passive observation. So we all know the literal meaning of observation. We observe someone or something and how it works and what happens. So if you look at what is active observation, it's the process of observing the users and actively asking questions. Let's say you're doing a particular work, okay? And I'm going to be the business analyst, and I come along with you and I see how you do that particular work. Let's say we can just take very simple examples. Let us say that you are trying to, let's say I'm going to go to the restaurant and I'm going to note that how a particular waiter collects the orders and then gives the orders to the kitchen, and then they process those particular orders. So I go there, and at every point of time I keep asking them, okay, is this the process? How is the process looking like? What are the things in different steps involved in this process? Who are all involved in this process? If I have any doubts in the process also, I can clarify my doubts. Okay. So this is a way in which actively you're interacting with the people in order to understand information about their process, pain points, and other details. So this is active observation. The next one is passive observation. So this is a process of observing the users without any disturbance to the user. Okay. So now let's say I'm going to the restaurant and I'm sitting down there and I'm very passively observing how the waiter collects the orders, how the orders are being, fulfilled, how actually things are delivered up to the billing process. I'm observing everything without asking any question. Because if you see in research, okay, when you need to study something or have to observe something, sometimes people go in for the passive observation technique. This is where you don't actually tell the people that you are observing them, because if a person knows that they are being observed, their reaction and their behavior might be altered. Let's say I'm telling you I'm going to observe how you are actually doing your work. Okay, so at that time when I tell you, definitely you'll try to find ways to better do your work, and you'll try to avoid scenarios that shows that you're not good in your work. Okay, you might be having difficulty, but still you'll be wanting to portray to me that you are able to manage your work. So always, in order to understand pain points and to understand if there's any confusions or anything related to the user or their processes, some people go in for passive observation, which can be like they go to the site, they observe what things happen, or it might be through certain videos. Like if you go and see for mainly for retail site, people will just observe people how they do shopping. It can be through cctvs, it can be through even on site. They just go and observe people how they shop and what are the products they buy, what are the difficulties, what is more easy for them. So this is passive observation. It's very helpful because you get to see how the in reality what are the different pain points, and you get to know how is the process looking like. And that's why it's called as shadowing, because you're not in the limelight but you are there and you're observing. So I hope I explained about active and passive observation. And no matter whatever is the form of observation you're doing, always the things you need to note down is what actually is already there in hand, in place, whatever what's existing. They might be having a software already existing. If at all that's there, who are the users involved, what is already working well in their process, or what are the difficulties people are facing, how well you can better it. So all these are some points that you need to keep pondering on, you need to keep understanding and analyzing, so that you'll be able to come up with the best requirements based on the user's needs also. So keep in mind all these things when you're in a user observation session or shadowing session, and it will definitely be helpful for you. So I hope this video was informative. So if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to this channel, and also do share your feedbacks. Thank you.